Happy Friday, everyone. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. We're going to focus a lot on the end of the weekend and into Monday morning in just a second. But first things first, we'll tell you about today. And if you've been outside today, no surprise, it's a lot warmer outside. As we have been advertising, we are now into the 50s. The wind is blowing pretty hard and the sun is out, aside from some high clouds. Let's zoom in on our local area here. I'm recording this about 2:15 in the afternoon. And our mid-afternoon temperature here in Youngstown, 52 degrees, and we have similar numbers throughout northern Ohio and into western parts of PA as well, down towards Columbus. It's close to 60 at this hour. Same thing down in Cincinnati. There are some thin, high clouds around, but no big deal there. It is overall a really nice day, but it is windy outside. We've got some pretty strong wind gusts out there, approaching 30 miles per hour down towards Columbus, a little closer to 20-25 here, northeast Ohio and into western parts of the Keystone State. So windy and warm Friday today. Things are quiet otherwise here in our neck of the woods. Let me take off the satellite here. I'll bring up the temperature analysis, and you can see where our air masses are. It is definitely a warming trend from the plains into the Ohio and Mahoning valleys. But look out here, cold air is building again across the upper Midwest and up towards the U.S.-Canadian border. It's going to head our way for the weekend. It's going to be a gradual step down. Tomorrow will be noticeably chillier than today, and Sunday will be quite a bit colder than today. So the roller coaster ride continues. Classic March stuff for us in our part of the country. A lot of these back and forth type of situations. March, September, our transitional months, oftentimes are accompanied by this sort of thing. So that's what's going on here in the near term. Now let's talk about the future a little bit. I'm going to bring up our high-resolution model here, bring up the predicted radar for the overnight tonight, and you're going to see that we may get a couple of showers tonight. I don't think it's going to be a lot. Here we are this evening, and we'll roll things forward to tonight after sunset. This is at 8 o'clock this evening. Band of skinny showers here right along I-71 or just west of I-71 at 8 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, it'll be approaching from the west. Let me get a little more data here, see if we can... I guess that's all we have for this particular model. But what we're getting from this is that starting at about 9 o'clock, we'll be under the gun to get a couple of rain showers around. No big deal, no thunder and lightning with this. And this will pass through between 9 and, say, midnight or so. And then later on tonight, maybe there's a flurry as the atmosphere continues to cool. Here's the future radar at midnight, 1 in the morning, and then skip forward to 4 in the morning. And while this isn't showing much, there's going to be some residual moisture around and the atmosphere cooling. Maybe there's a flurry or two around parts of northeast Ohio and into western Pennsylvania. No accumulating snow there, though, so that's not a big deal. Saturday will be a pretty uneventful day. Clouds, occasional sun. We've got the St. Patty's Day parade coming up on Sunday, though. And I'll take you into that day briefly here. Our bigger weather concerns are coming Sunday night, but around early afternoon on Sunday. Now, this is the NAM model, which is the farthest north of any model, giving a little bit of an ominous look to things here, but I think for the St. Patty's Day parade in Youngstown, we're going to be dry. Precipitation's most likely to approach by the end of the day. Now I'm going to show you why we have some forecasting challenges ahead of us here. What we've got going on is a low pressure system that will be approaching from the south and west. Here's that low Sunday at about midday down across the Tennessee Valley. Warm front up here. We've also got an area of high pressure up across the northern Great Lakes and heading into Canada. Zoom out a little bit here. This is the NAM model I'm showing you here, and it is the most aggressive model with pushing precipitation into the valley than Sunday evening and overnight, especially south of Route 224. Zooming in here. Now this would be snow, not rain if it were to be true. And notice it gets about as far north as maybe Interstate 80 Sunday evening, and then it pushes away overnight Sunday night. This is the NAM model setup. We've got low pressure down here, and then the battle is on between that low and the high that's up over the northern Great Lakes, that high pressure zone up in here. But the position of that high is going to be very important as to how far north the precip gets. So this is the NAM. Let me skip over to the GFS. Same time period. Now, subtle difference here, but very important. The center of the high over here, and this has a little bit more of a squashing effect, keeping the precip at bay then on the GFS model. There's the GFS, the high's right here, just north of Michigan, and then back to the NAM. It's over here more. And that westward shift of the high opens the door for some of this precipitation to make a northeastern move. It's not blocked by the high. The GFS has that blocking high up here, keeping the precipitation from moving northeast. But here's the NAM with that high farther west. That's a very important difference, and one of the reasons why we think the NAM is probably not onto the right idea at this point, because the GFS does have the support of some of our other models. But if the NAM were to be exactly right, you know, we're talking about a fair amount of snow in parts of the region. This is the snow depth field taking us into Sunday night, and the predicted snow amounts on the NAM are pretty impressive, especially down towards Chillicothe, Athens, Wheeling, maybe Pittsburgh and Johnstown. You start getting into some, you know, 9, 10, 11-inch amounts down here. With closer to home here on the NAM, maybe a couple of inches as far north as I-80, which of course runs right in through here, and maybe there's, you know, 3, 4, even 5 down towards East Liverpool and East Palestine. Now this is the most aggressive model. I'm going to show you some other models that aren't as far north, but that's the NAM. Here's the GFS. Look at the difference. NAM, GFS. Big difference. GFS has the bullseye of snow down into the mountains of West Virginia, heading into Maryland as well for the overnight Sunday night. NAM, GFS. All right, so let's switch sources here and show you the European model. It brings the precipitation about as far north as the Ohio River, and that's it. Again, the position of the high, very key here. The European has it up here. It's the roadblock. NAM has it more over here, opening the door for it to come north and east. The GFS, and here's the Euro, have that center of the high more east of the Great Lakes, blocking the northward extent of the precip. So with that said, here's the European snowfall accumulation map. Looks a lot like the GFS, doesn't it? With most of it occurring down along the Ohio River into the mountains of West Virginia and into the mid-Atlantic, with pretty much nothing up here across the Mahoning Valley. So that's the European. Here's the Canadian. Similar idea again to the GFS and the European model. Here is Sunday night. It has that high a little farther to the west, not quite as far west as the NAM, but it does have it a little farther west than the GFS and the European. That said, the precip just, you know, that high scoots over to the east enough that the precip doesn't get very far to the north, and therefore snowfall accumulations are reserved for southern Ohio, southern Pennsylvania, into the mountains of West Virginia. All right, so what does all of this mean for our forecast? We're going to keep a small 30% chance, I think, of snow in our forecast for late Sunday evening, into Sunday night, maybe first thing Monday morning. But we're not going to call for accumulating snow in our viewing area at this point, because with the exception of the NAM, the modeling is not pointing towards a high percentage chance of accumulating snow occurring here. But more modeling will come in towards the end of the afternoon. I'll have more information before I go on TV tonight at 6. And maybe that information will sway me. But looking at what I have available right now, I think odds favor snow missing us to the south, and it being more of a problem for Pittsburgh and Athens and Charleston and Morgantown, places like that, than up here in Youngstown. But as we've seen many times this winter, stay tuned, because sometimes the atmosphere has some last-minute tricks it wants to pull, and we may have to adjust the forecast accordingly. But as it stands, mid-afternoon on Friday, right now odds do not favor accumulating snow Sunday night, Monday morning. After that, next week looks kind of up and down, typical of March. All right, I'll probably post a weather blog with more tonight, ericwfmj.com. And then it's going to be kind of radio silence for me after the weekend. I'm on vacation next week. So you're going to have Mike Joyce on at 6 and 11, Monday through Wednesday. Matt Stone will be in Thursday and Friday. No weather for Weather Geeks all week next week. My Twitter and Facebook posts will be very limited as well. I'll probably check in a few times over the weekend just to make sure our storm is on track. But after the weekend, you're not going to hear much from me next week, as I plan on doing some relaxing after a tough winter. All right, I'll see you on the TV side tonight at 6 and 11. Have yourself a great Friday.